I welcome Jolanda and Leontine on this platform. I think the most important topic we have discussed today is digitalization and sustainability again. What are your takes on that? Because I start from her. If you say, like, what you think about digitalization, if you can speak about that.
Digitalization has many benefits. For example, you save costs making samples. It gives you, of course, a more clear idea on how the eventual garment will look like. And without making these samples, you save also a lot of footprint. For example, if you are really the big company, you need to make, in the end, about, let's say, hundreds or 500 of examples and of one garment. And then you save a lot. That's one of the benefits.
That's really great. And what do you think, Linda?
Yeah, well, I echo what Leontine is just saying, and at the same time, I'd like to approach it also from a different perspective, where if you combine digital and sustainability, I think sustainability is something that is here to stay, and basically for companies to succeed in the future, you need to become more sustainable. And then talking about achieving a more sustainable future, I think you need tech and data. And that's where, for instance, also my company comes in as Tex.Tracer, with basically supplying brands and retailers with supply chain data, independently verified by manufacturers, tier 1 all the way back to tier 4, and creating relevant supply chain information based on which brands and retailers can make educated decisions for the future.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, to really achieve that more sustainable future, you can use tech and digitization, both. And adding to that, of course, 3D aspect, or more the kind of digitalization that you're talking about. Well, basically combining that is very relevant and important for the future.
I think exactly on the spot, because this is really need of the time. But the amount of HR hours and training required, because it's, you have a software and then you have a manpower who has to look after data entry and the transparency through data and whatever the procedures, it should be certified. So you see that is quite a complex thing for the third world country manufacturers like Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. How you see that is easy to manage, and despite the management, there's an extra cost which you need to cover it through the product. Yeah. So it's a really complex situation right now to make it understand to our vendors or manufacturers in Pakistan and India and Bangladesh. So how you see the cost will have impact on the total product or on a total life cycle of the product?
Well, this is a very important subject that at Tex.Tracer we try to focus on a daily basis, really day to day. We're focused, how can we not just onboard new clients, because it's in a way pretty easy, but how can we make sure that we get the manufacturers to work along with us? And the way we think we can do this is by trying to make it as less complicated as possible for them. And that is by trying to ask smart questions. And instead of asking 100 questions, asking smart questions, but just 20, to avoid manufacturers to having to use a lot of time to get the information that is required. And then potentially step by step, by step we will add more questions, but do it in a smart way so that you do not have to increase your price, because of course nobody is going to be helped by doing that.
Yeah, that's really important.
But of course it is the biggest challenge for us as a company, to try and connect with manufacturers and to make sure that they work along with us. But that's why we would also love to get in touch with more manufacturers in Pakistan to find out what their actual situation is, so that we can also avoid that we create a technology which is probably great in theory but not doing anything in practice. I have 20 years of experience in, of course, I'm European, but I did spend several in the Far East working with manufacturers, and there I did see, like, I don't want to be the kind of that is going to just add more work to the suppliers, and because there's always pushback.
Yeah.
And in a way, we do need your help, and yes, we are asking details, but we're trying to get details firsthand without making it too complicated. And we hope that that is going to help to get the information that everybody will need without making it too difficult for manufacturers.
Yeah, that's really important because the vendors who are already supplying to big brands like Zara and H&M, they're already fully accredited and they are certified. They know, they are well aware of the situation and they have already prepared for that. For SMEs, it's really hard, to keep all these extra budget on transparency and data collection and to engage digitalization and everything on that. It's entirely a new set for that because whatever they've been practicing is entirely, and they are now set for a new direction and they are still not sure about it, like it's going to be successul or is it a disaster.
Yeah, but I can mention one thing, and I think you know the example, because we have setting up the design center in Lahore. We had this head of design there. He learned himself Glow 3D, and he started working with it. So learning this software, which is different from what Jolanda is doing, is not such a big thing, because what I think, it will be maybe easier to learn this in a production country, because here in Europe, most designers, they are, of course, they are familiar with production, but not in detail. So when you need to make a garment, you need to prototype, and once you need to put this data in your Glow 3D software, you need to know much more about the technical part of the garment, and that knowledge is still available also in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So I think from that part, let's say, working with these 3D and also maybe animations can be a solution where we also can work with in Europe and maybe even hire the people from Pakistan.
Yeah, that's
that
really,
happen.
yeah, that's
But that's
really
a different
important
approach. But
there's
still.
a lot of technical training and education is required in that process. So once again, I thank you for being here, and it's really a nice evening today because we had a lot of exchange of digitalization information and a lot of supply chain information through the different panel discussions, and I'm really excited about it for tomorrow's activity and tonight's event. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah, welcome.